Bases dropped on a new edition of Soccer Down Here. It's February 5th. It is a Wednesday. It's a Wall Pass Wednesday, which means we'll be taking your questions. It's not quite an AMA, but, I mean, I guess it's pretty close. Whatever you want to ask, we'll try to get into it today. We've got a few things that we'll throw onto the table as well. Mike Conti will be joining us at 10 o'clock, live from Minnesota, where it's been busy in Hawks land overnight, huh?
What is it, a four-way dance?
I think so.
What is being proposed?
I lost track of how many teams were involved in this trade and what the terms were. But, yeah, I mean, when you got Trae Young telling you to stay up and wait on the Woj bomb, that's pretty cool. So Mike's had plenty to do. We'll see how much sleep he got last night.
Researching Clint Capella.
Yes.
And
I think,
all that.
Actually, I think Capella is injured, so doesn't have to do too much research straight away. It'll take a minute, but feels like a good move for our Atlanta Hawks, and Mike will be balancing that with prepping for Birmingham Legion on Saturday. Preseason game on 92.9 The Game. We'll be live at 4 o'clock with a half hour of pre-match coverage, Five Stripes Countdown, and an hour of post-game coverage. The full-time report returns for the first time in 2020 following the match. So it's all real at this point, isn't it?
What is it the JR says? Business is picking up?
Yes, it is. It picked up last night at North Gwinnett High School, our first Soccer Down Here Georgia High School game of the week, and North Gwinnett kind of dominated on the girls and the boys side.
Yeah, it was fun. First and foremost, it was fun to go to North Gwinnett and see the two programs, both Norcross and North Gwinnett. They're county rivals, not region rivals, but they, in the last couple of years, have started out their seasons by playing each other. Girls' side, I guess their win streak is now officially at 9 after the 8 that finished last year and the one from last night, the 1-0 win over Norcross's girls, goal in the 16th minute, stood. And you can't really say enough about North Gwinnett's defense and especially their back four. I mean, that was just tremendous work by them last night. And then on the boys' side, it was a goal in the 3rd minute for North Gwinnett on a penalty by Juan Penagos, and that stood into the early part of the second half. And then it was a goal, I think it was 9 minutes in, that made it 2-0, and then 3, really, if you want to count goal 2, 3, and 4. Just amazing for different reasons, but a 4-0 win for the boys' side for North Gwinnett over Norcross. And it was, like I said, it was fun to be at Tom Robinson, and thanks to everybody who was listening and was commenting, and as a part of something new that we're doing this year that's a part of the programming grid at SDH, it was fun, and we'll be back at it again.
Yeah, it's very cool to see the growth of the high school game because a lot of people zero in on some players who go off to play in the development academy. It's a small number of players. The Georgia high school game is very, very strong, and you're creating these rivalries. Some are old rivalries, some are new rivalries, but games have a little extra spice to them because of the level of play, because of just seeing these players and these teams year after year. So these matches, I mean, you know about high school football, you know about high school basketball, you know about the rivalries there. High school soccer's created the same thing. So it's exciting for us to be able to shine a spotlight on that and celebrate the high school game, because whether these players go on and play in college like many of them do, whether they go on and play professionally like some of them do, most of them are going to go on to be the next generation of people like us. People who are working in the game, people who are refereeing, people who are coaching, people who are, fans of the game, people who are in the stands at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and other venues all over the state. So it's very important that the high school game continues to grow and thrive, and whatever we can do to help that along, we're here over at SDH.
next week, the plan, Lambert and McIntosh. And it'll be good to be down in the Southern Crescent for that one. And everybody knows who's familiar with the game in the state of Georgia, the pedigree that McIntosh has had over the years. So it'll be good to be down in the Southern Crescent to catch up with the Longhorns and the Chiefs next Tuesday night.
All right, article that grabbed my attention this morning from our friend Charlie Boehm over at MLSsoccer.com. The themes that could define Major League Soccer's 25th season. And the themes that Charlie went with: MLS shopping in Mexico, the league going international, and LA soccer capital in 2020. Come back to that last one in a minute. Let's talk about the others. So, shopping in Mexico, that is definitely something that we have not seen happen to the degree that it has going into 2020. You've picked up the Golden Boot winner in Alan Pulido. You've picked up top players on designated player deals like Lucas De La Rayon, Edison Flores. It's just a move that has changed the league for MLS. I think it's changed how Liga MX teams think about business, and it's only going to increase, I believe. We're still waiting to see Rodolfo Pizarro and what's going to happen with that. There's also the possibility of Roger Martinez. That's popped back up, that maybe that happens. So it might not be done, but I think what needs to happen more and more is it's two leagues with what combined, it's going to be around 45, 50 teams total once everybody is fully fleshed out. And that's a great market for players to find the right fit for them. And it's not going to be about one league being so much higher than the other, or one league spending so much more money or paying so much more in salary. It's going to be, hey, I'm at a team and I've got opportunities to go to Atlanta United, Club America, Monterrey, LAFC, LA Galaxy. Cool, I get to pick where I'm going to have the best fit. I don't have just one option anymore. I don't have just one league to look at. You got two. That's going to help the overall growth, and you're going to see more players choose to come to this continent. First off, you're going to see more players choose to stay, because I think these types of moves are going to help both leagues grow.
And the key word I thought in that last little bit that you were discussing, opportunity. And for Liga MX to be a league of opportunity, more and more for Major League Soccer to be a league of opportunity. And with the economics of the game and how the owners are investing more, and you have owners who are coming in who see value in having franchises in MLS in our geographically recent examples, and what we've seen with new owners coming in and investing and doing things that are growing the game in their markets. And so you have agents, you have those who are attached to players, you have the players themselves sitting there saying, okay, I see what's going on in town X. I see what's going on with franchise Y. I see what's going on with these leagues and how things are growing. And so it's not just things heading in one direction. It's not linear anymore. There's a lot of three-dimensional activity that can happen now when you're a player, or when you're looking to figure out what you can do with your game and where you can go. And so it's just the part of the growth of the game that we've seen over the last little while, and you're seeing players now with multiple choice exams to figure out what they want to do to try to grow their game and become better at what they're doing and figure out how they can challenge themselves. It just happens to be in more than that one place and more than that straight line that we've always thought of.
I think when you see the header on the league goes international, you kind of maybe turn your head a little bit, because it has been in a lot of ways, especially on the player side. But I think what you're starting to see, and the point that Charlie Boehm's making at MLSsoccer.com, is maybe more behind the scenes and in the dugout on the touchline, because you're getting Chicago's relaunch with Rafael Vicky, with George Heitz, with Sebastian Pelzer. They're going to have a very difficult or different kind of feel. It's a difficult relaunch. I mean, it's an ambitious one. How quick is it going to come together? But they're going in a very different direction, an international direction. You've got Diego Alonso bringing his experience to Miami, and Miami's already come in with an international feel to begin with. Charlie asks, was it the success of Tata Martino that changed perceptions? I think it had something to do with it. Yeah. I think Atlanta's success as a whole, not just Tata, but bringing in Darren Eales, who didn't have a background in MLS, and Darren, getting his head around the opportunities in Major League Soccer very quickly to put a good team on the field, but to also make it a profitable business and to do well on that side of it. It changed the idea of people coming in and being able to understand the league, because go back to Darren's hire in 2014, go back to Tata's hire in late 2016. People said foreign coaches, foreign executives can't be successful in MLS. That was the line. That was the line you were going to get. Go back and read the stuff about Tata. Well, he hasn't worked in MLS. He doesn't know how it's going to work. Kind of figured it out pretty quick, because soccer's soccer at the end of the day. Are there peculiarities to any league? Yeah. You have to know history. You have to know culture. Every top manager talks about this. Pep Guardiola going to Germany. It wasn't Spain. It was very different than Spain. And he had to adapt. Same when he moved to England. Jurgen Klopp going from Germany to England. He had to adapt. But good people do. And it's not about the situation that you can't go hire somebody who hasn't worked in your league. I think that's why for years and years you saw a lot of retreads and a lot of people who had coached in the league and failed and then went to a different team in the league and did about the same thing. Nothing changed. Now that's not happening as much anymore. That's a big source of growth for the league when you're not going to a retread and you're going to sign, Almeida as the manager in San Jose.
Yeah.
Rafael Vicky. I mean, there's a lot that are different kinds of hires, and it doesn't mean they're going to work because they're coming from a background of success or they're coming from a different country, but it doesn't mean it can't work because they're coming from a different country and they're coming from a different background. It's just like anybody else. But I think bringing in somebody who's had success elsewhere versus somebody who didn't have success in their last opportunity in Major League Soccer kind of makes more sense, doesn't it?
For me, it's the difference between asking the question why and asking the question why not. Because you sit there and if a business has operated one way over X amount of period of time and someone's interested in being a franchise in your business, let's just say widgets or whatever. So let's say that the National Widget Association has run all of their widget franchises one way over X amount of time. Someone who wants to own a widget franchise, wants to sell widgets for a living, comes in with a different set of ideas and challenges the status quo, sits there and says, okay, well, I think that we can do X, Y, and Z. I think we can do these separate things to sit there and make the widget business more successful across the board. And you will always have those who have been in whatever business it is. You can sit there, go to the corner store, you can sit there and talk about being, gardeners or whatever the business is. If things are done in a certain way, you're always going to have those folks, well, we've done it this way and it's always worked and therefore this is the way it should be done. But then you have someone who comes in from a different perspective and sits there and says, okay, well, what if we do this, and this, and we can grow the widget business, we can grow the gardening business, we can grow the landscaping business, we can grow sports. And your theories, you have individuals who trust your plans and see what you want to do to grow your business. And you're having this level of success. You're bringing in Darren Eales, you're bringing in Carlos, you're bringing in Tata, and you're seeing what Atlanta United is doing for both MLS and for soccer in general, and in that three-dimensional sense for Atlanta United. But for me, it goes back to the idea of, I don't know if challenging norms is the right way to phrase it, but it's this notion of, okay, it's been this one way for this period of time. Okay, fine. Well, why can't we do better? Why can't we be different? Why can't we grow with those around us who are interested in doing what we're doing? It's just the difference in asking a question and having a different perspective with your answer.
I'm going to challenge some norms right here because sentences like this really frustrate me. MLS's center of gravity has shifted hither and yon over the years, arguably spending the most time in Cascadia, Canada, and New York City of late. You skipped one, Charlie. Atlanta.
Oops.
No, not oops, because it was on purpose. And this is consistently how it's been nationally. To say that Atlanta hasn't been a center of gravity for MLS, you're missing the point.
I have a word. I don't know if I should say it.
I don't know what word you're going to say with that kind of lead up to it. Maybe you shouldn't. I'm a little worried.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing. I'll use that word.
No, it's bias, and that's the thing, and it's been there from day one. Soccer can't work in Atlanta, can it? Soccer can't be a big deal in Atlanta, can it? Soccer can't get talked about on local radio and TV, can it? No way they're going to be able to draw 28,000, which was the initial configuration of Mercedes-Benz. Oh, they're going to go to 40? That's crazy talk. There's no way. Oh, people, once college football starts, people aren't going to show up. Oh, they better not do a game on Friday night because high school football is going to draw people away. What other arguments have there been? Oh, if the Braves are good, yeah, forget it. That's not going to work.
Falcons.
No, nobody ever really got into that one. Anyway, there was always an excuse for why soccer in Atlanta wasn't going to work. Well, it has. And yes, Atlanta has influenced soccer just like Atlanta influences a whole lot of things and never gets credit for it. Atlanta's influenced Major League Soccer in a huge way, and it has been a center of gravity for the league since they came into the league. Far more than New York City. Give me a break on New York City. New York City hasn't been the center of gravity because the problem is the club, New York City FC, can't even play a CONCACAF Champions League match in their own venue. They have to go to the rivals across the river and play in their house. You can't be a center of gravity for the league if you can't even play an international competition in your own building. Oh, wait a minute. You don't have your own building. Anyway, yeah. So that part, that irks me a little bit. But I do agree that LA is going to be the center of MLS talk in 2020, and it's because of Chicharito and Carlos Vela, and two of the top players in this league, two of the big attention getters in this league, and they're on opposite clubs in opposite parts of the city, and that's going to create a lot of excitement and a lot of cool things for this league in 2020, stuff that we haven't seen. You know, you've had the LA Galaxy Chivas USA rivalry, and that was fun. Those games were spicy. Chivas didn't have that star power to take it to another level. Galaxy and LAFC have had star power. Zlatan, his debut, the games have been great. Has it been transcendent? It's been pretty close. Well, it's not going to be close anymore. It's going to go way over that line with Chicharito and Vela and the first time they meet. And it's a big deal. And I hope that people who maybe haven't followed Mexico, are not El Tri fans, or do not like El Tri at all, I hope you can understand how big this is going to be. And don't diminish it just because it's two players from a rival country. These are two top players and two players that are going to push this league forward. All eyes in MLS will be on LA this season. The comparisons between the two and those matches are going to be epic for this league.
You went into the numbers, I think it was yesterday and then a couple of shows back when Chicharito signed, about the social media presence, the uptick in all of the engagement that has happened with LA Galaxy since the signing of Chicharito, all of the interest, all of the anticipated programming and ratings and all these kinds of things that you're looking at, all the viewership and listenership and engagement that's going to be there. It's, from my perspective, I'm going to be interested to see just how much of an expansion of programming and the grid and coverage is going to even go from where we are when it comes to places like TUDN and the the Spanish-speaking stations and Spanish-speaking networks and how they're going to cover the league. I'm looking forward to seeing them blow it up and just to see how they're going to work their schedules and work their plans and work their programming as this stuff comes online in the regular season.
As big of a ticket as the playoff match between the Galaxy and LAFC was, the El Tráfico matches this year are going to be on another level. It's going to be a whole nother level to be the hottest ticket in town. No question. It's going to be a huge, huge, huge deal. It's exciting. It's a great thing for this league. And these are the things that I think people hoped for with New York City and with Red Bulls, and it just hasn't happened. Those games have been really good, and you've had a lot of great storylines in them, but nothing like this. This is next level. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it play out. My question for everybody listening, whether you're live with us right now or you're listening later, what are the themes going to be for Atlanta United in 2020? You know, you sum it up in a headline, you sum it up in a header in an article. What are the themes of the 2020 season going to be for Atlanta United? Be curious to see where people fall on this. Before people start responding to that, I know there's been other Wall Pass Wednesday tweets on the board. Why don't we get to some of those right now, John?
Sure. And as I spin through what's going on this morning, Five Stripe Daily wanted to look at what happened, as the computers decided to be very slow this morning. But Five Stripe Daily wanted to talk about what happened in the Elfsborg match in the 52nd minute, and wanted to know if the pass from Joseph in the 52nd that went from basically one end of the world to the other is the longest distance 1-2 that you've seen in a bit.
Yeah, not quite one end of the world to the other. It wasn't even exactly one side of the field to the other, but it was the longest 1-2 that I've seen. It cracked me up seeing it because of just the audaciousness of trying to pull it off. Joseph, you know, you think back to the goal in Philadelphia last year and the little 1-2 he played with Darlington Nagbe, and he played the ball to Nagbe, spun, Nagbe played it back into his run. This was kind of that, but over about 35, 40 yards. And that's what's so crazy about it. Joseph plays it wide from the left middle of the field all the way wide out to the right to Lennon. Lennon takes a touch and then puts in a cross to Joseph, who had just went tearing in on about a 30, 40-yard run. And he got on the end of it but wasn't able to put it on goal. I loved it. And that's how open this team could be in 2020. Joseph Martinez dropping in and combining and pulling defenders with him and then spinning and leaving them in the dust. That's something that we didn't see in 2017. We didn't really see it in 2018. We started to see it at times last year. I think it's only going to increase. I think when you have a top player and a top forward who can do that, it's not just about getting more touches, but when he drops into the midfield, the other team has to make a decision. Is the center back going to chase him? Is he going to get pulled out of position? Is he going to pass him off to the holding midfielder? Is the holding midfielder going to recognize it? And then is he going to stay with him? And then is he going to follow him when he makes his run into the final third? Is he going to try to pass him back off to a center back? You can create chaos when you do that. And when you have players like Pity Martinez and Barco around you and wide players like Brooks Lennon who you can utilize in a situation, and it's not even getting into central midfielders jumping up like Joseto, like Remedi, like Heinemann, you can pull things apart with that movement. I think at times we get really hung up on passing and the play on the ball, but if this team can get better off the ball, and that movement can start to open things up, then you're even more effective. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch if that happens.
Hachiko Martinez this morning.
Joseph's dog is tweeting at us?
Apparently so.
Wow.
And that's what the avatar is, Joseph plus dog. And
okay.
So here we go.
That's
so let's see what Hachiko has to say. When there's talk about Remedi stepping up, is it due to lack of skill or needing to adjust his skill to match some new structure of tactics? I've always liked him and his bulldog reputation, but it's clear something is stagnating. Is he at risk of going the way of Tito?
Joseph's dog is very analytical, too. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Remedi's been inconsistent, and that's what's been a little surprising, and it started in the middle of last season. Bad giveaways and bad spots, and it's something that we've heard Frank DeBoer talk about it with Pity Martinez. When you're a central midfielder, you're in those bad spots even more, and we did see it at times against Elfsborg, and we saw some really good plays from Remedi at times against Elfsborg. Remedi's a really interesting player. I think he is best as a number 8 in maybe a little bit more defensive system, who he can be a bit of that destroyer and protect a deep-lying playmaker who isn't quite as strong defensively, but is the player you want on the ball more. I don't know if that's going to be the case here as much. And when you add Matteo Sulceto into the mix, it's going to be even more competitive for minutes in the middle of the field, which is a good thing, by the way. And it just goes back to something we've talked about a lot this offseason about the emotions of players that you've come to love and you've come to watch for a few years now versus what's best for the team on the field. And whenever you can add new faces and get better, that's the best thing for the club. And sometimes that's going to come at the expense of playing time of favorites. And Remedi and his attitude and his style has definitely won over a lot of people. But he's going to have to find a way to be more consistent and not have as many giveaways and bad spots. That was what started to jump out to me as the year went on last year, and even though there were very good moments on Saturday, that was what stuck with me at times. There was one that he had cover, but he went for a back heel in the defensive third that ended up nearly creating an opportunity for Elfsborg. It was too risky. And yes, it's preseason, but still, it's when you start to play that way and you start to risk too much. Look, Atlanta wants to get numbers forward. And that's why I've always pushed back on this whole idea that Frank de Boer's defensive and he only wants to play defense and he doesn't care about scoring goals. He wants to be organized. And when you have bad giveaways and bad spots to the field, you disrupt that organization. Because a lot of times the possession is being done in order to keep the organization moving up the field in an organized manner. Because that way you can defend a counterattack. I want to see Eric Remedi get back to 2018 form, early 2019 form, where he was a beast in the middle of the field. He was recovering the ball often. He was smart with his passing, and he was starting to drive into the final third and make things happen. Kind of got away from him a little bit last season, and we'll see now with another central midfielder coming in what the competition for spots looks like.
Clayton Poss, and is today a fashion kit reveal day, kit launch day?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So Clayton's Wall Pass Wednesday. Happy Kit Launch Day. What is y'all's favorite kits other than Atlanta's with a thinking emoji?
Let's
now,
see.
Is this in history of MLS? Is this the new 25th anniversary kit? What are we talking here? I guess we can take it both ways.
You can do both. Just pick whichever one you want to start with.
Okay, well, let's go with the 25th with the triple stripes.
Okay, Okay, then start with that.
I like Kansas City's. I like the double blue I like that double blue that they've broken out this year.
We'll run through them real quick. DC, if they do red shorts with it, like they're potentially talking about, Pablo Maurer tweeted about that. It might not be always red shorts, but that could be one of the best ones. Because a simple black with the red trim on the sleeves and then red shorts to go with it, it's a throwback to the 96 kits that are some of the best the league's ever had, but also breaks up the monochrome type of thing. I'm not a huge fan of everybody being black shorts, black socks, black jersey, all black, or all red, or all blue, or all white. Break it up sometimes. I'd love to see, and I don't know if Atlanta's planning on it, I'd love to see the white kit with gold trim with black shorts with gold trim occasionally. Doesn't have to be always.
Ooh, I like that.
But break that out occasionally, and it would be a good look and a good variation on it. I like when they break that stuff up a little bit more. Other new kits that we've seen, because I think everything is leaked at this point. Chicago is not bad. It's a good kit if it had nothing to do with the Chicago Fire and the old badge and all that stuff. It's fine. It's a good navy blue kit. I like the red diagonal stripes on it. The new logo still looks weird. It hasn't won me over. It's okay. It just doesn't work for a club that is the Chicago Fire that has an identity, especially when they've been called the Men in Red for years and years and years. The Cincinnati kit, I do not understand the home kit at all. I don't like it. The away kit looks really good. The Rapids kit is clean, good, like it. Columbus, I'm still looking for the sailboat on the front of the shirt. I'm staring at it. Eyes are crossing. I'm not seeing anything pop out of it just yet. It's really strange. Dallas's kit is really good. It's one of my favorites. It's different. It's got the horizontal lines going across, which goes back to their kind of hooped kits that I think they should have stuck with. But it's not just boring in, okay, it's stripes or hoops the same size. It's got some creativity to it. I like Dallas's. Houston is not as weird as Columbus. I'm not trying to find a sailboat in it, but it's so much worse than what was one of the best kits in league history, the black with the orange going across the front. That's one of my all-time favorites, and this is such a step back from it. LAFC's fine. It's about what you would expect. They didn't mess it up. The
Minnesota
Galaxy
United
one.
Minnesota United's one.
We're going in alphabetical order, John.
All right, I'm going in alphabetical order.
You're skipping ahead. LA Galaxy, I don't like it at all. I'm glad they kept the sash, but gray or silver or somewhere in between has really had nothing to do with the LA Galaxy. They've been super ultra colorful in their history. I mean, go back and look at some of their early kits. Why are you going gray, silver with this? I don't get it. Miami's are good, especially the black one. The black one with pink trim is great. The white one could have been so much better. I wish they just went pink. They should have went pink. If you haven't seen the picture that Beckham posted on his Instagram and MLS has shared it, that he's taken a picture, a selfie with the stadium, that I think he's got a jacket on, like a warm-up jacket on. That's what the kit should have looked like. That color pink, black shorts, pink socks or black socks, that's what the home kit should have looked like. The white's a missed opportunity. It's fine. It's just it could have been so much better. Minnesota's with the wing is the best one of the new kits. It goes back to their history. It goes back to their NASL kits that were great. It's the best one of these, and I'm glad they incorporated that. The fans are going to be very, very happy to buy that in Minnesota. Nashville's okay. It looks like it's the home is the yellow, the away is going to be the navy. I don't think we've seen the full away yet. I hope they break up the shorts and socks combinations, and that's where they get a little bit of variety. You know, the yellow shirt, navy shorts, and yellow socks, and sometimes navy socks, and do the vice versa. Navy shirt, yellow shorts. I'm okay with that. You're going to look Swedish. It's not bad. I'm okay with it. The Revolution home kit, it's got like a big white bar across the front of it with the sponsor logo in it.
Looks like somebody missed with an eraser on a chalkboard.
Well, that's just mean. I don't think it's that bad. I want to see the shorts and so I want to see the full kit. I'm perplexed at this point. I don't know if I like it or not. The Red Bull's black with red. That looks good. It's going to be hard to pick up the red numbers on the black shirt, but it's good. I'm guessing it's all black. It'll be black shorts and black socks. It's kind of funny because that's the look that their rivals DC United has had pretty much from day one, but okay. Have at it, Red Bulls. New York City. The away kit, the Navy one, it's one of the bolder ones that I really like.
Yeah.
It's okay. It works. It's like misaligned, kind of diagonal across it, and it's got a little bit of the splash kind of thing that Adidas has played with. I kind of like it. I'm going to give them credit for that one. Orlando's away with like a faded purple on it. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you're probably just going to wear white shorts with it, and there you go. I mean, unless you can somehow wear faded purple shorts with it, and then it might make sense. Otherwise, it just doesn't look right. It's trying too hard.
What is it? Folks said it looked like a pen exploded in somebody's pocket.
That's the problem. And when that's what people come up with, you messed up on the kit. It could have been so much better. Philadelphia, the new home kit. It's okay. I wish they had kept some of the gold down the middle idea that they've used a lot in their history. It's a little too plain, and I don't like the variations of navy in it. Like the main front of the shirt is a lighter shade of navy than the sleeves. It doesn't work. I don't like it. I do like Portland's kit a lot, even with the yellow or gold 3 stripes on the shoulder. The big gaps between the narrow green horizontal lines. I like it. I think it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Real Salt Lake, again, maybe trying to find a sailboat, but not quite. I don't know why Adidas went with this and this kind of idea of just absolute chaos that would maybe look good in a warm-up shirt, but not in a kit. Not liking it. I've come around on the San Jose one because I didn't know it played off of the San Jose flag, the city of San Jose flag, with the yellow in it, which has never really been part of the Earthquakes identity. I guess you could try to draw a correlation to the old San Jose Clash, which this version of the Earthquakes has no relation to, so it doesn't exactly play. It's the city of San Jose flag is where they drew the inspiration from. So it might work with a full kit. It's still not one of my favorites, but at least there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
I can work with that. If there's some kind of story behind it, I can work with that. Seattle's kit is hideous.
Yes.
I just don't like it at all because they didn't go full crazy like the RSL, Houston, Columbus ones, but they went kind of crazy. It's not crazy done as well as the NYC away kit. It's just, I mean, it would probably look good as a T-shirt. It'd probably look good as, a shirt you could just buy to wear around town. I don't think it works as a jersey. Sporting's looks really good. This is where the different shades in navy kind of works, and maybe it's the silver that sets it off. I don't know. It just looks better than the Philadelphia one to me. The little silver things on it, I can't tell exactly what they are.
No, it's like silver speckles, I guess.
Whatever. If it's got sprinkles on it, it works. I like it. Toronto's is actually really good. It's got a sublimated kind of light gray pattern that's it's kind of busy, but it's light enough that it doesn't get you too much. It looks good. Toronto's is fine. I like Vancouver's a lot. With that, it's not gray. It's kind of like like a silvery light blue.
Yeah,
that's
like a
not in
periwinkle?
the Crayola box, but okay, go with it. It looks good, and the trim on the sleeves. I like the ones that did that. DC did it with the red trim on the sleeve, and it's a big bit of trim, but it looks good. The Vancouver one's one of the better ones. So that's the new ones. I mean, going back historically, I think Portland's had some great kits. I've liked their throwback kind of kits with the Alaska Airlines kind of blocky logo on the front. I liked the white ones with green that they did with that. That was my favorite one that they did. I've never been a huge fan of Seattle with the rave green. They've done some cool third kits, though, in their history with the light blue. The throwback kit they did that was white with the light blue was good. Trying to think what else stands out.
The Rose City kit for Portland for me. I like that one as an alternate.
I didn't like it at all. It was meh. They did a couple versions of it that I liked more than others, but the idea of it's fine and playing off of it, but it wasn't better than their regular kits to me at all. The first sash kits and some of the first sash kits that the Galaxy did I really liked. I'm glad they went with that design. I'm glad they kept the sash in the new one. I just don't like that it's gray. It should be colorful. That's what the Galaxy have been in their history. And when the team across town has decided to not be colorful and go black and gold, why aren't you embracing the color? Why are you going white and silver? Like, that's kind of goofy. So, didn't like that. Dallas with the hoops I really liked, and they should have kept it. Chicago's third kits a while back with the City of Chicago flag, the powder blue with some red trim. Those were really good. I've liked a lot of Columbus's kits. I like the yellow and black combination. I know some people don't. I've always liked what they've done with that. Some have been better than others, but DC's early kits were some of the best in the league's history. Atlanta's initial kit is one of the more iconic ones in league history. I think that'll always be in that list. Who else? New York City's had some really good stuff. I've liked their branding and their color combinations. New England's had a few that I've really liked. They've had some really bad ones too. They've maybe been the most hit or miss around the league. But the Portland white throwbacks are probably the ones that I go to on the more recent scale as some of my favorites.
Yeah, for me, it's the hoops with FC Dallas. And that one for me is toward the front of the line. When it comes to like the 96s, I mean, honestly, I liked the Clash kit from the early days just because of the baggy shoulders and the full long sleeve and the scorpion and all that kind of stuff. So that was where I was with that. So for me, it's the hoops from Dallas and the Clash from the early days.
The Clash had some interesting ones. It wasn't the first ones that I liked. I think it was 99 that they had one that I really liked. I'm just trying to see if I can find it right now. They had some really good ones. Those first ones, the like kind of split thing that Nike was doing for a while with, it was like white on one half and yellow on the other, and it had some weird like coral color in there and then a light blue in there. It was just too much. The alternates they had to that didn't split it, that were just yellow with green shorts, or it was mostly yellow and green. It had some of the coral and some of the light blue. That was better. It was the late 90s Nike kits that had the thin lines horizontally across the front, and they did I think it's black with light blue trim, and then a light blue one with like a dark blue and some coral or orange or whatever color it was that they used trim on it. Those were really good. That was a cool look for the Clash. I just like the fact that the San Jose Clash could have a supporters group called the Casbah.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's just awesome. I wish they had
Did
lasted.
not know that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was their first supporters group, the Casbah.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah. That was good stuff. And I was okay with the Scorpion thing. The Clash is a brand from the very beginning of MLS that takes way too much crap. It wasn't that bad.
You know, I mean, when you look at the RSL kit this year, it reminds me of like a Gustav Klimt or a Salvador Dali painting. You're sitting there going, what?
Okay, I'm not giving it that much credit.
Well, that's just what it's. You're sitting there, like I said, you're looking for like magic art. You're looking for sailboats, and yeah, you're kind of tilting your head, and you're going, okay, well, what? No, do I see something there? No, it's like a meteorological map. I think the Weather Channel would be proud of the Gulf streams that RSL kit has for their home kit this year.
Yeah, it's It's definitely something.
That's out there. That it is a kick, and it is something.
All right, we got a little bit of reported news. It might be official. Let me follow this thread real quick. I don't see the official link, but Roberto Rojas, our good friend who covers the Paraguayan game very, very well, and he's got a great podcast called Low Limit Football. They interviewed Risto Stoichkov recently. Go check that out. Roberto is reporting, and he's got it as official, but I haven't seen it I don't know if the club would issue this, but Tito Villalba's transfer fee from Atlanta to Libertad was around $4 million. That's a record fee for a Paraguayan club. That's far more than I expected. That could potentially see a return in some GAM. I don't know if it will, because we don't know what the transfer fee that was paid for him to San Lorenzo was. I don't think that's ever really been reported. We know salary-wise, over the 3 years here, Villalba made somewhere in the 2.4 range, maybe slightly less than that. So that's going to come off the top. The transfer fee is going to come off the top. Then you're going to have the split. Yeah, you should be able to turn some of that into GAM. Maybe not the full $750,000 complement. And these are the things, look, we just never know. But I didn't expect to see that kind of a fee at all.
No, I did not.
I was thinking in the 1.52 kind of range, because that's what Libertad has paid. But we talked about it when it came down that it was going to be Libertad and not one of the other bigger clubs in Paraguay. They've got a manageable Copa Libertadores group, and advancing in the Libertadores is a very valuable prospect to teams in South America, especially teams at the level of Libertad. And if they feel like, look, we're going to spend $4 million here, that's more than maybe we'd like to, that's more than we've ever spent, but that could help us make 20, 30, 40 by continuing to advance in Libertadores. And you're bringing in a guy with experience in winning the Copa Libertadores with San Lorenzo, it's worth the investment. It's a risk, and they're asking a lot of Tito Villalba, and he's going to have to perform because, man, I mean, now he's being looked at as the man for Libertad because that price tag carries expectation. But that's more than I expected.
Yeah, that is.
Transfermarkt has the 2.75 from Atlanta to San Lorenzo. I've seen it reported less than that, so I don't know if that's accurate. I had seen it in the 600, 700,000 range. I had seen Leandro Gonzalez Perez's transfer fee kind of all over the place too. So without truly knowing, there's no way to know if you're going to get a return, if you're going to get any GAM out of it. But just the fact that you're getting your money back and more on the transfer fee portion of it, that's impressive.
Yes. Yeah, but I was thinking it was going to be half of that. But hey, big business, good business again for Atlanta United.
Yeah. So now Joe Patrick's got it as this, and I've got a question about it because he says Tito's transfer fee from San Lorenzo to Atlanta United was officially undisclosed, but reports signaled the deal at $2 to $2.5 million. If these numbers are remotely accurate, Atlanta will have added the maximum $650,000 GAM in the deal. $750,000 is the maximum, first off, and the salary factors into it. You get recouped on salary spent and acquisition cost, according to Paul Tenorio and other reports out there that know the rules a lot better than me. Those happen before anything is converted to GAM. So if it's 2 to 2.5 as the transfer fee, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you're going to get GAM. I might be wrong. Things could have changed. Maybe things are in the process of changing. I don't know. But it's acquisition cost and salary that comes off the top before you can start to split with MLS and convert stuff to GAM. So, and I don't know if the 2 to 2.5 was entirely accurate. And nobody will know. That's going to be behind the scenes. And I don't know if we'll ever truly find out, to be honest, because we won't know if there's GAM coming out of this because that's not reported. So it's a good deal, period. and you got more than you thought you would.
Nick Brawley this morning. How about that beautiful goal by Gio Reyna yesterday?
Whew. That was a good one. And I liked what Brian McBride said, the U.S. men's national team general manager, that what stood out to him was that made it 3-1 with about 15 minutes left in a cup game, and Reyna didn't lose his mind running around, celebrating, going crazy. He was trying to get everybody back for the kickoff quickly because they were still chasing 2 more goals. That's a really good sign. To score a goal like that as your first and not to make it about you and try to get the team going and find more, that's an impressive sign for Gio Reyna. Look, people are already starting with the national team's going to be fine now. Gio Reyna's going to score 100 goals and everything's good. It's slow down. We've seen this stuff play out before. It is a great goal, and he is living up to every bit of talk that accompanied him to Borussia Dortmund. But he's a teenager, and things can change very quickly at that age and at a club like Dortmund. So it's a great goal. It's a wonderful goal, and hopefully a sign of more to come from Gio Reyna. But let's not go ahead and start expecting Gio Reyna to be lifting the World Cup trophy in a couple of years.
Slow the roll slightly. Tafka says, I'm fine with the sleeve sponsor. What's most important to me is that the club maintains what is obviously a sponsorship rule, that they have to be flexible in terms of color. Our kits will always be nice aesthetically if the sponsorships are color coordinated.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams do. This has been something a lot of people have talked about around the league, not just in Atlanta. I think a lot of teams have been able to do that. Some don't, but a lot do. I think it's growing smaller, the number of sponsors that don't quite look right on the front of the kit. And hopefully in those cases, the team is using that as a way to make more money. That's what I would do. It'd be like, hey, you don't want to change to our color scheme. You're demanding it be your logo and your colors. Okay, well that's going to be an extra $1 million. That's going to be an extra $2 million. Pony up. Oh, okay, you don't want to do that? Well, then this is what we're going to do. You got to use every bargaining chip you got. So I hope that's happening. The sleeve sponsor's great because it's more revenue for the club. That's what's important here, and you get a shirt sponsor on the twos kits, and it's more money, and it's a good partnership. It's a good partner to have, so that's why it's good. I don't care about the aesthetics of it as much as most. I'm more worried about the bottom line, and you bring in more revenue, you're doing a good thing here. If you can then bring in that new revenue in a way that does look good, cool, even better. But you're bringing a good partner on with good revenue. It's a good relationship to have, and it looks good on the kit. Win, 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 win.
Bartimus Prime has a poll posted this morning for soccer down here.
I like it.
Which reason for player turnover is most logical? Hashtag.
I don't know. He just got a daily double for some reason.
There you go. Choice 1, the front office hates fans. Choice 2, year 2 of a new manager. Choice 3, the end of contracts. Choice 4, the right prices for players.
Wait a minute, I gotta see this poll because that was one of the options.
Yes,
that's funny, Bart. I like it. I'm assuming that's quite entertaining. Let me pull up the poll so I can see how I need to vote.
To vote 3 times.
Here we go. Vote 3 times. It's only one. You only get one vote. What do you have? You have burner accounts? Is that what you're telling us? Did you just reveal that you have burner accounts?
Of course I do.
You have burner accounts, so you're going to vote 3 times.
What do you think wrestling down here is?
John. That's cheating. Okay.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying, and it's only cheating if you get caught.
It's not anything to cheat on. Like it's a poll that Bart has put to the floor to ask for people to respond to. What is the most logical? That is the very important part of the question. The front office hating fans, I'm going to go with that is illogical.
Yes.
Year 2 of a new manager, somewhat logical. End of contracts.
Logical.
Right prices for players.
Logical.
What is the most logical?
End of contracts?
I'm going to go with right prices for players because it's more of that than players being completely out of contract, and the players who are coming towards the end of contracts, the overriding issue was pricing and prices for players. I really think that. So, yeah, that's my vote. I just voted. There you go, Bart. You got my vote. I'm not going to use burner accounts like some people to skew the voting.
And Michael Head, in our discussion earlier on in hour number 1, he wanted to know thoughts on the reports of NYCFC playing their CONCACAF match should be played in Harrison. His hashtag was build your own stadium was his hashtag.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
That's one reaction.
Oh.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
That's the reaction.
That's the reaction.
That's the reaction right there. Man, it's just sad.
As much as I want NYCFC fans to go charging over the river and go to Harrison and have them
that's what I really want.
Have them take the tarps off the upper deck. There's going to be like 12 people there.
That's what I really want, though, because that would be the greatest thing New York City fans could do. That would be the greatest thing in club history. You turn it into the negative. Operation Lemonade. Atlanta United made it work playing at Bobby Dodd. New York City fans can make it work and go bring more people to Red Bull Arena than the Red Bulls have drawn in 3 years and pack the place out and then post that picture everywhere to Red Bulls fans. That would be what they should do. It's not what they're going to do. They're just not going to show up. And
third rail's
going to be a small crowd.
Yeah, it's going to be like 12 people, and
that's a shame
it is not
because look, it's a reality. I mean, this is not a news update that New York City is using somebody else's venue. It's not a news update that they've had problems building something in New York, because I think everybody has problems building something in New York. They're not the only ones. There has been some progress, but the team has been tight-lipped about it, which I get because there had been talk before that it went south and a little bit of a black eye, and I think they want to get all their ducks in a row. Like, I understand it, but now you're in the situation where no matter what you do, people are going to poo-poo it, and that's just where you're stuck. I don't think the club can... Well, one, the club should have announced this. It shouldn't have come out from the opposing club's sporting director in Costa Rican media.
Yep.
That's kind of bad, and that makes it worse. If the club came out and said, look, this is what we wanted to do. We're not able to use Yankee Stadium for this. We wanted to use this venue. We couldn't. We're going to make the best of a situation that we wish we didn't have to. Use this coupon on our website, and you get in free. And you get a 50% coupon for if you come to the game and your free ticket is scanned, you get a half off coupon for a game during the season. Whatever. Like, blow it out and make it as big of a deal as you can. Don't hide from it, and then let it come out in the Costa Rican media, and then it looks even worse. Like, it is what it is. It's not a shock, so make the best of it. And when you don't, that's why you get their attendance declining, even though they've had very good teams. They've had some of the best teams in MLS over the last couple of years, and their attendance keeps falling. Yankee Stadium's not a good place for soccer, but these types of things add into it. People don't trust the club on these things, and that's a shame because the product is good. They should have done better with this. They should have turned it into a positive, and they still can, but you've got a lot more to overcome now, and we'll have to see if they can do it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get Mike Conti on the line right after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
You're listening to Soccer Down Here daily on SDH Networks, a division of OSG Sports. Find us at Soccer Down Here on Facebook and Twitter. The time is now the top of the hour. Peep, y'all.
Welcome back, Soccer Down Here, hour number 2. Wall Pass Wednesday. You want to get in the mix? Tweet at us at Soccer Down Here. Plenty of things to dig into. We've talked kits. We've talked 2020 themes for MLS. We'll get into 2020 themes for Atlanta United. But we've got Mike Conti on the line live from Minnesota.
Yeah, it's funny, Jason. I'm looking out the window of my hotel room right now, and thankfully the Hawks have a late shoot-around today, which is why I can join you. And just across the river there, I can make out the scene of one of the most bizarre matches we ever called, and what turned out to be the greatest win in Atlanta United history, according to Kevin Egan.
It's
I
been
think still
passed.
to this day, right?
It was one of them. It's been surpassed, but that was a great win.
No, it was an awesome win, but I'll never forget Kevin. Darren Eels and you and me and Dan Gargan, we were hammering him at the hotel afterwards because he had proclaimed it to be the greatest win in club history. It was a great win. And if you don't remember what we're...
At that time, there wasn't a whole lot of other ones.
No, not really. Not really. I mean, they had some great draws, but as far as a great win is concerned, and if you don't remember what we're talking about, Atlanta United was 10 men for an hour in sub-zero temperatures at Minnesota. They had a 1-0 lead on a really kind of awkward own goal right at the start, and then Leandro Gonzalez-Perez got sent off, and for the final hour, Atlanta United, to use Jason's term that night, parked the bus and slashed the tires. And they had never really won a match like that up to that point. And honestly, they really haven't won a match like that ever since, which I guess is a good thing because it means you aren't playing with 10 men a whole lot. But
you're not parking buses.
Exactly. But every time I come up here to Minnesota, that's the first thing that comes to my mind now. I mean, it literally driving from the airport to the hotel last night, I'm just thinking back to how cold it was that weekend. Oh, my God, it was so cold. And I remember me and Matt Moore crammed into an Uber, that Saturday morning thinking, is it going to be like this or is it going to be worse? And it turned out to be worse. And, it was a very, very cold, brutal evening, but it produced a memory that I think we're going to have for a long time.
That was a wild day as a whole because that was El Tráfico number 1.
Right.
Zlatan's goal as we're in the lobby waiting on Ubers Zlatan scores that goal, and I remember like, I'm going to stay. I'll get it. I'll get Uber later.
Well, do you remember, Jason? Like, so we're in the lobby of the hotel, and the team is in a ballroom having kind of like a lunch/dinner.
Yeah.
And their TV was on El Clasico as well, and I think they were like maybe 5 seconds ahead of us, whatever TV we were watching in the bar.
It was one of those deals.
So we hear the team ballroom, just this explosion. And what happened? And then we look up and we see Zlatan with that half volley from 45 yards out. Yeah. And you're right. I remember you and Dan Gargi were like, we'll see you at the stadium.
Yeah, we'll call another car.
Yeah, that was fun. And the cool thing is, we're a couple weeks away from that again, and that's what I'm really, really excited about. I mean, for us, Jason, it really all starts Saturday. I know you and Kevin have already done a match, but for you and I together, it all starts Saturday in Birmingham, and I'm just ready to call matches because this off season has been, a little bit challenging from a social media / things you hear out loud standpoint that I would just be very excited to get past and get started with actual matches that we can analyze and have some tangible proof of what this team is going to look like in 2020.
Now that you've had a little bit of time to let the Mateus Rossetto move sink in, what do you think?
Oh, I love it. I mean, Mateus Rossetto, excuse me, is and I give you credit, Jason. I've kind of been going off your scouting report. He sounds like someone that is going to fit pretty nicely with a philosophy that's kind of developed in this offseason. And I don't know if Carlos Bocanegra and Frank DeBoer and the technical staff sat around in a room and, made this declaration, we want to play faster this year. I don't know if that was something that they just, they set as a goal and they built a team with that in mind, or if it has just kind of happened this way. But Rossetto is someone who's going to give you more pace out of the midfield. And I just get the impression that, and by the way, it's going to take some time for him to get comfortable and build chemistry. I don't know how much we're going to see him on Saturday. I mean, I hope we do, but I don't know how much we're going to see. But I just get the impression that everything that Atlanta United has done, and Rossetto is a part of this offseason, is to add pace. And it's not necessarily add pace in areas where they did not have that pace last year. This is not a like-for-like replacement for Nagbe. I cringe every time I hear the phrase Nagbe replacement. It's not trademark. It's not a like-for-like deal, but I think he's going to slot into this team pretty quickly. And I think he's going to start a lot of matches. And he's also got some versatility where he can, again, and this is another kind of hallmark of this offseason where you've acquired a lot of players who can play in different spots, and that versatility is really going to help you when you have to rotate this squad because you're playing so many matches straight away. So I love the Rossetto move. I never think it's a bad idea to have Brazilians on your team for obvious reasons. I guess it's a race now to see if Rossetto or Luis Fernando is going to be the first ever Brazilian to play in an Atlanta United match. But, a lot of people don't know much about him because we don't see a lot of Brazilian soccer on our televisions in the United States. But everything that I've heard about him, everything that you've told me about him, Jason, all the scouting that you have done, makes me feel pretty positive. This is, I think, to this point, the marquee signing of the offseason for Atlanta United.
All right, I'm going to also reserve the last question of this segment, so I'm going to plant that flag right now. So I want the last question of this segment. But first question for me this go-round is a poll question that Bartimus Prime brought in for the end of hour number 1, Mike, and I wanted to get your input on this as well. He says he has a poll question for the show, and he has 4 possible answers. Which reason for player turnover is the most logical when it comes to Atlanta United? His first choice is the front office hates fans. Second, year 2 of a new manager. 3, the end of contracts. Or 4, the right prices for players.
4, I think, don't you? I mean, did you see the report this morning on what they may or may not have gotten for Tito Villalba?
Yeah.
$4 million, which is a record fee for that club out of Paraguay. So you basically, now, I mean, not quite, it's not this simple, but you basically doubled your money on Villalba. We talked about how it's more than doubling your money on Gressel. I mean, you started from 0 and you got $1 million, up to 1.1 million. Leandro, we don't really know the numbers on him yet, but one is to believe that's a similar case. I think with Nagbe again, you're trying to make it work from a financial standpoint where you're getting offers you can't refuse. But the thing is, the core of your team is still intact. That's the brilliance of what this front office has done this offseason, in my opinion, is they've been able to sell high, double their investment in the cases of some players that have departed. But you still have Joseph, you still have Barco, you still have Pitti, you still have Miles Robinson. I mean, the spine of your team is just fine. You still have Jeff Lorenowitz. You still have one of the best goalkeepers in this league in Brad Guzan. So it's not like I've seen the expression fire sale. No, they didn't have a fire sale. Fire sale is when you get rid of everyone and you start actively tanking. And this would be a simile for other professional sports leagues in this country. When you start actively tanking to get draft picks, or you're in such a dire financial situation where you have to just reduce payroll costs as much as possible, and you're not going to field a competitive team. That's not what Atlanta United did at all. They kept their core intact that was going to keep them competitive. They made some very, very smart financial decisions because the numbers work. So again, to Barnabas Prime's question, I'm going to go with number 4. But yet they backfilled some of the losses with players that I think are going to step in immediately and be very, very good. And it sounds like Brooks Lennon could be one of those guys. Obviously, Joseto is going to be one of those guys. Meza is going to be one of those guys. Edgar Castillo could turn out to be a very, very shrewd move by this front office to bring him in and reduce the pressure on George Bello to have to step right in and be a first team contributor immediately and be a left wing back that's going to have to do all kinds of things that he might not be ready for yet.
Change of pace with Adam John up top.
Adam John's a good call too. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Adam John, you could argue, might even have been a little bit of an upgrade over Brandon Vasquez and Romario Williams. So, that's a long answer to a short question. I apologize. I feel like I do that a lot on your show. But
no worries. We got time.
I think it comes down to they got offers they couldn't refuse that were sensible from a financial standpoint, but they also did not gut this team. And that's a real testament to the job that Carlos and Darren have done, isn't it?
I think so.
Nope, yeah, I'm down with that.
I think so. I think it's MLS roster building's a big, complicated puzzle. It's not like other teams in the world because of the cap and because of all the rules around the cap. And I think Atlanta so far is finding a way to consistently be dangerous in this world and have to reload. And this is where, your scouting comes to the fore. And did you get it right on bringing in Joseto? Did you get it right on other decisions you've made? That's for any team in the world, but I think they've navigated the complications of MLS's salary cap and rules as well as you can.
Yeah. And I think the other thing they've done that was extremely smart this offseason is they didn't make any presumptions about the CBA. Where if the terms of the current CBA are the terms that the league is going to play under in 2020, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's still a possibility. Atlanta United has not left themselves in a position of trouble going into the season where they're going to have to do things to get compliant. I thought they were very, very responsible in that regard.
We also talked in hour number 1 where apparently NYCFC is going to have to play at Red Bull Arena to take on San Carlos, according to the sporting director of San Carlos.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're going to see an official announce. Well, yeah, New York City's going to have to officially announce it, I guess, because their ticket holders are impacted. Look, I feel like we talk about this a lot, and I don't want to keep hammering New York City for having to play at Yankee Stadium and the league in New York City for not doing something more concrete to address the stadium issue. But boy, oh boy, I mean, New York City, they're playing Champions League at Red Bull, which is a situation they're not happy about. They're going to play some regular season fixtures at Citi Field. Now, at some point, this has got to get tiring for them. And I know that is not the lone factor in, coming up with the financing and a site to build a new stadium. But this has got to inject more urgency into that now. I hope it does. I mean, we were looking at the possibility. New York City was the number one seed in the East. We were looking at the possibility of the MLS Cup final potentially not being played at Yankee Stadium because there may have been a World Series conflict. And in fact, they had to play a playoff game at Citi Field because of a baseball conflict. And
the sight lines for TV were awful.
Well, yeah, right. No worse than Yankees. Well, Yankee Stadium, at least they take the nets down. But yeah, I mean, at some point, someone's got to say enough is enough, right? And by the way, Red Bull Arena will be a great venue for that. And, New York City could have done way, way worse. It's not like they're going to the campus of St. John's where they played some U.S. Open Cup matches.
I think they tried that. I think they tried everything but going to Red Bull Arena.
I would hope CONCACAF would have shut that down.
Seems like that's what happened.
You can't have Champions League matches at a 2,000-seat college stadium. You just can't do that. So hopefully this is one more kind of kick in the behind to get things really, really going on track for a new permanent stadium with proximity to mass transit and a high enough seating capacity and all of that, all the boxes that need to be checked off, because this is starting to get embarrassing for New York City.
What do you think about some of the other moves around the league lately? We've got Cincinnati with one of the most valuable players, according to Transfermarkt, in the league now with Jurgen Locadia. They're going all in. Miami's linked to Rodolfo Pizarro, who we had a chance to see last spring and stood out to us. Feels like things are ramping up even another level after the Chicharito signing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it? Like, here we are getting closer to the regular season when you feel like the move should be winding down, and instead it's kind of ramping up. Really, really cool to see Cincinnati going out and spending money and bringing in someone. You're right, Jason. I mean, I think now he's immediately top 10 in the league in player value according to Transfermarkt, right? So really good move by them. Pizarro, I guess, had been linked to a couple different teams in MLS, and I want to say Chicago may have been one of them, or he said no to Chicago, or
the
something
Chicago thing was really weird. It wasn't coming from outlets that I really trust, but there was a lot of it about the Chicago link, and then that kind of fizzled out, and don't know if it just was never actually a thing or if he did say no to Chicago. But once Miami came into the mix, it's just steadily picked up steam, and it sounds like at this point it's down to the final T's and I's being finalized on the contract.
Well, Miami has done absolutely everything we expected them to do, which is to go out and beat players and spend money and be aggressive. And Pizarro is someone who I think is going to be immediately one of the better players in this league, if in fact the reports are true. I remember Darren telling us down in Monterey last year, he was so frustrated because Atlanta United's dealing with all these salary cap restrictions, and here comes Monterey bringing Pizarro off the bench. Someone who would immediately start and probably dominate for any team in MLS, and he's coming off the bench for Rayados. So good move by them. The Luka Modric thing, I think, is a little bit interesting. I see that has bubbled up a little bit, and that's not going to be anything that would come into play for the start of the season. But I like, if that report is true, where Beckham is offering to somehow double his salary, again, I like it. I like it. I want to see MLS clubs be aggressive and spend money because it increases the quality of the product that we're going to watch. And as the quality of the product gets better, the TV viewership gets better, which means the TV rights in 2022 will hopefully go higher. And suddenly now you're going to have a big cash infusion for all the clubs in the league. So if getting Luka Modric and maybe overpaying for him is something that will help do that, I'm all for it. I don't know how he's going to pull that off. But I did see that report yesterday, and I thought it was encouraging that the Luka Modric to MLS talk is not yet dead.
We were talking about kits also in the first hour, with today apparently being Fashion Day and the kit release and all that kind of stuff, and which ones we liked and which ones we didn't, because I think it was Michael Head who brought the question up this morning. Of the 25th year kits, and we also took it historically, have you had a chance to take a look at the 25th anniversary kits and who you like and who you think is as I said, the RSL kit looks either like a Klimt or a Dali painting, and you're trying to find magic art, like Jason was saying. Have you had a chance to peek at them and who you like and don't?
Have not seen all of them. I can tell you I really dislike Columbus. I don't know if I've seen one that I really like. And this is of the 25th anniversary kits. If we're talking about just your standard kit, totally different discussion. Orlando's, I think, was kind of like RSL's, the way you're describing it, John, where there's something going on that kind of explodes from the crest.
Orlando's was just like the faded purple that people said it looked like a pen exploded in the laundry.
Well, yeah, but the pen was behind the crest, wasn't it?
So,
like it kind of emanated from there. I mean, look.
I think you might be giving them more credit.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, look, here's the thing. Adidas is trying something different. I'm all for trying different things. If every club in the league is going to be doing something a little bit offbeat to commemorate the 25th anniversary, I'm fine with it because it sells kits. It sells kits, and that's what this ultimately all comes down to. It's not teams trying to make fashion statements and players trying to make fashion statements. They're trying to sell kits, and with kit sales comes revenue, and with revenue, it's the same thing we talked about with TV. It's more money for the clubs to invest. But to your point, John, I don't know if I've seen a 25th anniversary kit that I really like yet.
There's some. There's some that I was a fan of.
I would say this. Just from my standpoint as a broadcaster, I do like the larger numbers on the backs of the kits. That will be very helpful. It doesn't help when the color of the numbers is very, very light, like the now gone King Peach kits for Atlanta United. I really struggled with that for a while. But
dark numbers on a dark kit back.
Yeah, or that. Yeah.
Red Bulls will be that. Looks like red numbers on a black kit.
Well, yeah. I feel like we've seen them enough where I know what they look like at least. Like if Birmingham did that, I think I would be in real trouble for Saturday. But it sounds like, is USL changing anything substantially with their kits this year with the numbers or anything like that?
I haven't seen anything about their font, if they're changing it or not. I think they're keeping the same one.
I thought the USL kit font was the best in most. I mean, not just in American soccer. I mean, you could go around the world. One of the best. Really, really like that USL kit font. I thought that was very, very sharp, very clean, and very readable. So hopefully that will continue to exist. I mean, shoot, at this point, I don't even know who's playing for Birmingham. I know they're going to have some trial players out there on Saturday, but they have their first team roster right now, I think, is only 13 guys, not including their trial players. So at this point, I don't care about their kits. I just want to know who's playing for them.
Yeah, they had a couple of signings the other day to add numbers to their roster, but Charleston, I think, has had a rebrand, so their jersey might be a little different, but when it comes to fonts and numbers and things like that.
Atlanta United, too, has a kit sponsor now. So go out and get your Piedmont Healthcare kits now. That will
if
be
they
a
put
change.
them out for sale.
If they put them out for sale.
Yeah, it's something that they haven't done with the second team kits before, and it's not just an Atlanta thing. I wonder if that'll change with a unique kit sponsor now. It could.
Mm-hmm. It would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because in theory, I mean, their kit was always different from the first team to begin with. But now that you have a logo on the front.
Last year it wasn't, actually. Last year they did the same stripes and King Beach that the first team did.
That's true. The first year they had those white kits with the gold and red and black.
That was a good kit too.
I love that kit. And no logo on the front, but the stripes were on the shoulder, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly, going down to the arm. Love that kit. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's the question that I've been saving to the end of this segment. Daniel Price wanted to know what everyone's favorite Longshore on-air moments are.
Oh, jeez.
Because today, one of us here on the air is celebrating another lap around the sun. And so in honor of that, Daniel wanted to...
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Bury the lead.
Hold the phone. So Jason's birthday is the same day as the Patriots-Falcons Super Bowl.
Yeah, that happened.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm sorry.
That sucked.
Yeah, I bet it did. Well, trust me, we were all there. It was no fun. Jason, happy birthday. I honestly did not know that. I have not been on the Facebook today, so I didn't see that. Jason, happy birthday, man. You've become one of my best friends over the last couple of years, and it's just such a pleasure to work with you and broadcast with you. It's a testament to Jason's just incredible work ethic that on his birthday today, he's doing SDH. He's going to do stoppage time. I know he's going to be preparing very hard for this match on Saturday and doing everything that you do to grow the game of soccer in Atlanta. So happy birthday. My favorite Longshore broadcast moment is unquestionably in San Jose 2 years ago when as soon as that cross gets put in for Joseph, it's going to be a goal to win the match. When Atlanta United apparently down 4-1 and they come back and win 4-3. And as soon as that cross is put in and Joseph gets the header, it's going in, and I'm screaming it's a goal. And Jason, still to this day, I'm not 100% sure what he was saying, but something came out of Jason's mouth that kind of shocked me. And I remember, Jason, I don't know if you remember this, I just kind of looked at you like, you okay? And I think I even said, so how's your night been? But Jason, it's funny. Jason does such a good job. You don't necessarily hear his reactions to Atlanta United goals, but I get to see all of his reactions, and he just loves it so much, as we all do. And and he does an amazing, amazing job. And and John, you know what it's like when you get to prepare for a broadcast and work with Jason, and Jason can just download you on absolutely anything. He's the best. But that moment in San Jose, I mean, and there have been a lot of good ones. I mean, Jason losing his mind at Chris Penzo for sending off Wando and Matias Almeida this year, that would have to be up there.
Which I wish I had known what Wando said, because he absolutely deserved to get sent off once he admitted what he said. Still don't know about Almeida.
The Almeida thing was weird because it looked like he was cheering for his goalkeeper making a big save, and I think the quick trigger Penzo got a little bit confused on that. But
maybe he dropped one of the magic words as well. We don't know.
It could be. But that one stands out. Obviously the MLS Cup final, that stands out. Just
Campiones Cup with Lorenowitz.
Yeah, well, it's a banger, and this came up with Tito. This past week, it's a banger when you hear Jason in the background go, ooh. And he's done it a couple times, and that Lorenowitz was one. Tito's goal in San Jose was another. So
I think those might be the only two.
I think they are.
I think so.
I think they are. But to me, it's whatever he said in San Jose, and I've gone back and listened to that tape probably 100 times, and I still have absolutely no idea what that was. I think he was saying Nutella is life, but I'm not positive.
That is not the case. That is definitely not the case.
Oh, goodness. Ricky Ricardo says that the other might have come from the Barco curler in New England.
Oh, boy.
Maybe.
You know what the funny thing was about that? So that goes in, and we have the perfect angle. We're right behind it, and we can see all the English on the ball and everything. And there's an obnoxious, one of those stereotypical Boston fans sitting right below us. Absolutely obnoxious. And as soon as that goes in, before Jason can even react to it, that fan goes, well, that's why you pay $1 million to bring that guy into MLS. or whatever the number was. I forget what he said. But, that was, if any goal deserved a little.
$1 million.
$1 million. Yeah, but if any goal deserved an exclamation from Jason, it was that one. That was such a pretty goal.
I think there might have been, but that guy took it away. So I think I just started laughing at that guy.
Yeah. Now, Jason's been my protector when Montreal players are sitting below our booth and are getting annoyed with me. He's been my fountain of knowledge and has taught me a lot about this game. He's been my explainer for a lot of Latin foods that I never really dabbled with before I got to work with him.
Check.
I mean, he does it all, John. You know it. And I just hope you have a great birthday, Jason. I'm sorry I'm not in Atlanta for it today, but I hope you have a great day. We'll celebrate in Birmingham on Saturday.
Yes. Thanks, man.
Let's see, what else? I'm trying to think of what else has been going on, but we've got some news out of FC Cincinnati, but we'll save that for later. They signed another player.
No, Cincinnati's busy. Lots of things happening. Mike, we'll have a lot to catch up on Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, again, we're on the air on 92.9 The Game. And I don't know with the stream if it's us or if it's someone else doing the commentary.
I think that's still to be determined. Last I heard is Birmingham's definitely doing a stream. There will be a stream, but I don't know what the commentary situation is. We'll have radio no matter what.
Oh, yeah. And there's still like 3 full days to figure that out, so I'm sure they will. But 4 o'clock on Saturday, 4:30 for the kickoff, and Jason will have stoppage time today. I think Joe Patrick is sitting in with you guys today on stoppage time, 2 o'clock on the 92.9 The Game Facebook page.
Cool. We'll be talking to you soon, Mike. Thanks.
All right, guys. Take care.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Georgia. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
Today's show is presented by Apelinsky & Associates, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience, supporters of Atlanta United, Faction, and Inter-Atlanta Youth Football Club. If you've been hurt in a wreck, contact Steve today at steve@aa-legal.com or call in 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Welcome back. Soccer Down here, February 5th edition. The Wall Pass Wednesday. We're still taking your questions and comments on Twitter at Soccer Down here. FC Cincinnati, man, I feel like you remember, this is a really stupid reference to pop into my mind, but I'm going to go with it. You remember Jerry Maguire, right?
Yeah.
You remember at the end when Rod Tidwell gets his contract on Up Close with Roy Firestone and is then like
fully
shouting
guaranteed.
Everybody out?
Yeah.
And
my brother TP.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember who it was. I think when he was talking about the Cardinals, he was like, you're a little slow to get it, but you're coming around. That's FC Cincinnati right now. They were really slow to get what Major League Soccer was going to be, but they are coming around quickly. They said they would. I doubted them. Gerard Nijkamp was like, we're going to be able to add 3 guys, 4 guys. We're going to be able to make these impact moves. Somehow they've been able to clear room after 1 year of many bad contracts, and they go out and they get Jurgen Locadia, who's the number 8 most valuable player in the league, according to Transfermarkt. And now they've added a player with hundreds of appearances in the top flight in France and Turkey, midfielder Adrian Regetin. I think that's how they're trying to go phonetically here.
Yeah. First syllable,
Regetin. Okay. We will see how accurate that is.
So are you Rod Tidwell in this situation then?
Well, no, I mean, they're not signing me, so I'm not signing
No,
them.
but you're the one. But you're the one who's saying that you were slow, but you're coming
around.
I'm
saying this to Cincinnati that you figured it out. Thank you for coming into the real world, and you were a little too slow on the uptake there, buddies. But you've got it now. You've got a very good team in Cincinnati. Are they gonna win the East? I don't think they're quite there yet, but if Locadia lives up to the hype and scores goals, under Ron Jans late in the year, they were pretty good defensively.
Yeah.
You've got Greg Garza and Andrew Gutman on the left side. Garza, it's all about staying healthy. We know this. Center backs, Kendall Waston, one of the best in the league. Michael Vanderwerf was a really good signing, and you've added Tom Pedersen on top of that. You've got Hassan Ndam, you've got Nick Hagland for depth. 3 really good center back options. Matthew Duplan, I thought, was a good right back. We'll see how he ends up looking in year 2. I think the Harris Medunian signing was a very good one. Alan Cruz was their top player last year. Caleb Stanko is a good defensive midfielder in this league. Fatai Alashe, you keep waiting for him to kind of become the guy, and it just hasn't quite clicked for him, but he's talented. Frankie Amaya, I really liked. I thought he was going to be a number 10 in this league, but it's looking more like he's going to be an 8, and a pretty good 8 as well. And then you've got Jurgen Locadia up top. You've got Yuya Kubo as a player who can play out wide, and we'll see where Regetin slots in. Is he going to be a 10? Is he going to play out wide? You've got Joe Jiao and Kakuta Mane with speed. This is a pretty good team. There's still question marks because you've got so many new faces that are expected to be impactful, but Cincinnati's turned it around really fast.
Occupying an international roster spot, added to the roster upon the receipt of his international transfer certificate,
That's
P1
awesome.
visa, when the primary transfer window opens on February 12. Quoting Gerard Nijkamp, we're happy to add a versatile, attack-minded player in Adrian to our current group. We look forward to getting him acclimated with the club and city ahead of our second MLS season, end quote.
Yeah, I always skip the P1 visa stuff and international transfer certificate because it's just legal mumbo-jumbo you got to throw in. He's coming unless you get a weird visa situation like we've seen a couple times in the league. New England went through that here. But not very likely. So this is a really good addition. Very impressive by FC Cincinnati, as they have rebuilt a team that's 1 year old, and they're far more effective, at least looking like it on paper, going into 2020.
You want to do news and notes, or do you want to go back to Twitters?
Yeah, there's a few things to touch on. Nico Ladero is away from the Sounders. He is back in Uruguay getting treatment for tendinitis. Brian Schmetzer downplayed it, said it dates back to last season. It's a precautionary treatment to try to ensure that he's as close to 100% as possible for the start of the season. And he's expected to rejoin the team next week when they move to Mexico City to start training, preparing for CONCACAF Champions League. Tendinitis doesn't really go away. So,
No.
If he's getting treatment for the start of the season, is that going to help him be ready to hit the ground running? Hopefully, but is he going to be fit? And that's going to be the question mark for Ladero in the early portion of the season for the Sounders. The Roger Martinez stuff with Miami is just weird. So it's popped back up after it looked like it was done. And Raul Ortiz for Fox Deportes in Mexico, he said that Miami came to an agreement with Club America a month ago on a deal that would take Martinez to Miami. But according to Ortiz, Martinez's agent, Fernando Beto Lopez, wouldn't sign off because he wanted more money. He was not satisfied with the compensation he would receive from the sale. So the agent held it up. So I don't know if the agent has been pushed aside, or the agent has been smacked back down, or the agent has realized that he probably shouldn't hold up deals for his client. I don't know, but sounds like this deal maybe could happen again. And if you get Pizarro and you get Martinez, well, you're not getting the big, over-the-top designated player signing, but you're getting two really good players for Miami and two players that fill a need. So I wonder if Miami maybe would not be interested in bringing Martinez now and hold on to that DP slot for a big name in the summer. That's where I would lean. Yeah. But if you add Martinez and Pizarro now, you're going to be far better in the first half of the season rather than wait until the summer. And if they've made the decision, that's the way we're going to go. It's a good move. It's just I feel like maybe you do need that big superstar and wait till the summer until you can get the right one.
Yeah, and so if this is going to go, until get him to sign on the line, which is dotted, the old line from Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, and until that happens, it's like, all right, I see all this news with Inter Miami. Let's just see where it all lays out as we get closer to the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, it's beyond that for me. It's not even about like getting the deal done. It's should you get the deal done, because it's changed since it was approved before. You've entered this race for Pizarro. And if you're picking between the two, I'll take Rodolfo Pizarro all day and hold that spot. Do you want to go ahead and use both designated players? That's what they've said they want to do. But this is not the type of designated player that they talked about. So I don't know. Plans change, and you always see an evolution of strategy as things happen. But I would wait. If it was me, I don't know if I would spend that money on Martinez. I'd spend that money elsewhere, and if I need to wait till the summer to do it, I think that might be the better play. Toronto's linked to Pablo Piatti, an Argentine winger who is at Espanyol in La Liga. So Quique Iglesias, who writes for Cope in Spain, noted that Piatti's not training with Espanyol, instead traveling to pass a medical exam, according to Iglesias. That would be geared towards the move to Toronto. He turns 31 in March. He's been playing in Spain since 2008. He's been at Almeria, he's been at Valencia, he's been at Espanyol. Nearly 300 La Liga matches, 48 goals, 42 assists. Started with Estudiantes in 2006 in Argentina. He's got one cap with Argentina's national team. This would be that designated player to take the spot that Bradley left when he signed a TAM deal. Great addition. I mean, it feels like a really smart move, and this is the type of spending that Toronto's known for. I don't know where the idea came up that Toronto was going to cut spending, but yeah, Ali Curtis has said, that's not happening. We're always going to be one of the top spenders in this league. This is the kind of move that shows that.
Yep.
Other stuff outside of MLS, the women's Olympic qualifying in CONCACAF comes down to the semifinals on Friday. Canada playing Costa Rica, United States playing Mexico. It's the matchups we expected. Mexico gave Canada a battle but couldn't beat them to win the group. So Canada should get past Costa Rica. The U.S. should get past Mexico, but neither one will be completely easy. Costa Rica rested a bunch of players in the match with the U.S. because it didn't matter. And Mexico has given the U.S. problems at times. I think the U.S. is playing really, really well, and they are the overwhelming favorite. They should be just fine here. But do not go into this looking at Mexico as a team that can't make it difficult for the United States. It's not a pushover. If the United States wins big, it's a credit to the U.S. team. It's a credit to Vlatko Andonovski rather than Mexico's not an opponent worthy of this match. I think they are. I think they're going to give the U.S. a scare, but the U.S. should get through. A couple other things real quick. High Point, North Carolina could be the site of a USL League One team. They'd be playing at BB&T Point, which is part of a downtown redevelopment initiative. It's a baseball stadium for the High Point Rockers, which is an independent league team playing in the Atlantic League. High Point Rockers is kind of a boring name, eh? Most minor league baseball teams are getting crazy with names. This is kind of meh.
Is it a hilly? Is High Point?
I think
are
so.
they referring to
High
the
Point
rock
That's
itself?
Kind of a guess.
I mean, it's the High Point Rockers. It's either a wrestling tag team or you're referring to something at the top of the hill.
I do not think Marty Jannetty is involved in this. But the stadium was built with the idea of having multiple types of events, and soccer was always in the mix. So hopefully it'll be a fairly wide field, and it'll work well for this. Looks like they could come in 21 or 22 if things move forward. And on the good news side of things, the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation has given $5 million in a grant to the U.S. Soccer Foundation to support their United for Girls initiative over the next 3 years. It involves building mini pitches, but also programming specifically targeted towards young girls. It's a great initiative that the U.S. Soccer Foundation has, and it's cool to see Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation supporting it. You know, these types of initiatives are very important. You want to draw a wide, berth of support. You can't have just one funder for them. When people like the Dick's Sporting Goods Foundation jump on board, it's a good thing for these initiatives overall.
Yep, very, very cool to see, and hopefully that you have other businesses who will sit there and look at these kinds of things, and what Dick's Sporting Goods is doing currently, you hope it rubs off on others.
Yes.
On to the Twitters, sir.
Yes.
Five Stripe Daily says, I just don't really want the jerseys to end up looking like Elfsport, where there are so many sponsors you lose the integrity of the kit. I'm fine with a sleeve sponsor, but wary of a snowball.
I would not worry about a snowball because people were having problems getting a sleeve sponsor added. I don't think you're going to get more. And look, when these clubs have those sponsors, that's what keeps those clubs alive. So I don't think they're really cared about the aesthetic of it. If they can add another sponsor and pay for their travel for a year, they're going to do it because that's what it takes. So I don't care. I mean, it can get ridiculous, yes. Defensa y Justicia, I think, has 12 sponsors on their kit in Argentina. There's Mexican teams that have the same number, but you're not doing it out of greed. You're doing it out of necessity. So, if right now MLS isn't operating in that world, they can be choosy about it, and they can say, okay, we'll add a sleeve. I think you can add a one sponsor under the number and be fine. I probably wouldn't go further than that unless you get into that conversation about need. And I don't think MLS is going to be there because of the way they're managed. But I don't expect them to see a crazy amount of sponsors on kits. There's always going to be restrictions in MLS on that because it's not something that's as accepted here in the United States. Outside of NASCAR, where it's very accepted and encouraged, it's just always been pushback about even having sponsors on soccer kits, let alone on any other uniforms in the world of American sports. We have it in basketball now at the NBA level. The NFL's always blocked it, right? I don't even know if it's really come up for much discussion in the NFL.
Yeah. It's got the practice jerseys. They do it for for practice situations where it's not in a game situation on a game jersey. But
do they do that in the NFL?
Yeah, at training camps you have like little patches and things.
Okay, so they've added that. Baseball, I think, does that for spring training as well.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So, I could see the NHL doing it. I think they'll be the next ones to do it in a bigger way.
I mean, it's been done in other hockey leagues worldwide where you have multiple sponsors on the sweaters and things like that.
Because
so I could see the
part
NHL
of the gig, and that's why it's been funny how that's seen as such a black eye for sports here when everybody else is like, hey, it funds the team. We're going to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just part of the gig. So I think MLS will always have limitations on it, though. I don't think there's anything to worry about there. It'll be fun.
Okay. GTUTD1 has posted a Thursday thought.
We're already to Thursday. We haven't even finished Wednesday yet.
I know. And so I'm going to go ahead and read it as a Wall Pass Wednesday question and not save it for tomorrow.
Yes.
Would you agree that Atlanta United
holding days?
Yes, has done good work in the offseason to overcome the tight salary cap impact on solving for in-season injuries by finding more athletic and technical players that provide position flexibility?
The positional flexibility is the standout with what they've done. And it allows you to maybe not need 30 players on your senior roster, but go with 25, 26 because guys can play multiple positions. That's really important. I don't know about the injury part of it. You always do everything possible to try to avoid it, and Atlanta has been, I think, ahead of the curve with sports science and the way that they track everything on these players when it comes to workload and managing training sessions and all those kinds of things. That's the part you can't prepare for, but when you look at building a roster, I think a lot of people have zeroed in on they need more players, they need more players, they need more players, but you can't just go get top players to fill roles where there's not a lot of minutes. Let's go back to Tito Villalba, for example. He wanted more minutes. You couldn't guarantee it there. So you're not going to be able to get these proven guys to come in and be player number 25, 26, 27, 28 on the roster. You need young players to step up. You need players that you've scouted that maybe haven't been noticed to step up. You need your USL guys to move up the ladder. You need to fill those roles with those players. Your core, and you're probably going to be about 24, maybe 25, maybe even 23. Your core guys that you're going to see get the overwhelming bulk of minutes in MLS play and first-team play, it's maybe a smaller number this year, but they're so much more versatile that you can make that work.
Talked about themes in hour number one. Tafka has his 2 for the upcoming season.
Okay.
His first theme, number 1, will youth come good? Among Bello, Hindman, Lennon, Barco, Joseto, and Robinson, there are a lot of trains that should be coming into the station this season. He says Robinson has already arrived. Can he load up again and head to more European destinations? That's his first theme.
It's a little combined there for me. When I look at youth, I'm looking at 20. Oh, it's kind of hard to say where the cutoff is. I don't look at Robinson and Joseto in that conversation. I feel like they're established at this point. Barco's established, but he's young, so maybe it's 20, maybe it's 21. In that first part of the conversation, I'm looking at Bello, I'm looking at Barco to take a jump, and I'm looking at these players to take a jump from where they are coming in. You know, does Barco become a guy who keeps Castillo and Mulroney off the field? Does Barco become one of the elite players in the league? You know, players of that age. George Campbell, does he become a player who sees the field? Those young guys, are they in a better position at the end of the year than they were at the beginning of the year in terms of stature? that next level, the 22, 23, 24, even up to 25-year-olds, it's a little bit of the same thing, but they are more established. For Robinson, does he start to get talk about going to a big European club? Does Heinemann, does Lennon become U.S. men's national team level players? Rossetto, does he come in and be a player on par with the designated player that Seattle signed in Joao Paulo? You look at things, and they're not that different in terms of how people view them. There's an age difference, and there's maybe a level of being established difference with more matches for Joao Paulo. But did Atlanta get a bargain in going and getting Rossetto instead of paying a premium for a 28-year-old version of that player? It's interesting. So there's different phases of Tafka's theme, but yeah, I think it's a lot of, are these players going to be bigger? Not literally. Bigger in terms of importance, of stature, right, of perception at the end of the year than they come in. And that's a good thing, because that's a big part of MLS. It's just development as a whole. And this is a club that wants these players to develop, both for the club to be strong, but also for potential transfers to sell, bring in more resources, bring in another higher level of talent coming in.
And his second theme is FDB watch. Presumably, FDB now has the players he wants and the time to implement.
I disagree that there's a watch at all, because that implies that there's the potential for a hot seat. I do not think that's the case. I know that I'm probably in the minority on that. I don't know. I've had this conversation with different people. A lot of people have put all these moves down to Frank, and I don't know how much Frank actually dictated these moves. Specifically, the players going out, the players coming in. I think it's more of a profile of a player rather than specifics. Maybe there was a decision to be made where it's, hey, we've got the opportunity to get player A, B, or C. Who do you like more?
Right.
Maybe it comes down to that. That's generally how these things go. I think there's maybe been a little bit more of importance placed on Frank's role in these situations than there should be. You have to manage the cap. You have to have the capologist involved. You have to manage scouting as a whole, which is not something that Frank is doing day to day. You have a department to do that. There's reporting processes in place, but you have a lot of people involved. I don't think it's just on Frank saying, well, I wanted this player, I wanted this player, I wanted this player, I wanted this player. Cool, now I can do everything I want to do. It's not quite that simple. So I don't think it has to do with Frank as much as, the players that have come in, the players who have gone. You're going to have to evaluate those moves. If when the numbers are reported on Julian Gressel, he's going to be compared to the number that he'll be getting salary-wise versus what that reported number was that Atlanta was willing to pay in $500,000. Is that good? Is that bad? What is this? Those are the evaluations that are going to come. I think it's not as much on Frank as it is the overall club. You're getting a little staticky there, John.
Taka says, yeah, I hope so. Taka says it wasn't a hot seat inference. It was merely what we will see is going to be FDB, not an FDB with a Tata flavoring.
Yeah, some will take that as a hot seat inference, and it shouldn't be. I think we saw a lot of what Frank was last year. I think it's versatile. I think it's flexible. I think it's problem solving, and maybe more willing to change things up to solve problems. I mean, if you go back and you read some of the reaction to Atlanta United matches in late 2017, late 2018, there was a lot of criticism of Tata Martino for not making substitutions, not changing the lineup up in 2017 in that run of games at Mercedes-Benz, not subbing, not being willing to change. That was not the case with De Boer at all last year, even early. You go back to the Barco sub that got you a point against Philadelphia early on. You go back to the changes in the Monterrey second leg at Mercedes-Benz, which got you a goal and pushed that a little bit into a competitive spot, even though you were 3-0 down coming in. And then you look at the changes that would continue to happen in the postseason. I mean, you went from 3-5-2 to 4-3-3 in a couple of games, and you had success. You made changes that were needed, and I thought Frank was really good with those end-game changes. So I think the team's already got that imprint. I don't think it dramatically changes. Now, we'll see. Is it more 3-4-3 heavy? Is it more 4-3-3 heavy? You know, without pulling my research back out on Frank at Ajax, he was more willing to go 4-3-3 at Ajax in the earlier days when he was winning league titles. I think he started to get away from that more as things happened, and he played more 3 in the back with Palace. And I think a lot of people put him down as a 3 center back guy. At Ajax, he played a lot of 4 in the back, and I don't think he's really married to any one shape. I think the style of being organized, which is a broad concept, but that's a touchstone with him. I think the idea of playing fast, and not by playing fast vertically, but playing fast in a variety of ways. I think maybe those are the touchstones you're looking for here. But we saw a lot of that last year. I don't think it's going to look dramatically different than last year outside of different individuals executing it.
KFC had a comment on jerseys partial to last year's Dynamo black kit with the orange. Joey Logan says, yes, at Longshoe, monochromatic is lame. Emphasis.
There's some worldwide kits that have done great with it. I mean, the Real Madrid all white, that's classic. They can't do anything different than that on a regular basis, or anybody who made the decision would be kicked out of the club. There's some Chelsea in their blue, except they do white socks with it, and it looks better that way. Liverpool in their red. Like, there's some that it works. You've got tradition
They're
behind
iconic.
it, but everybody in the league doesn't have to do that. And no. I've always liked where you've had that variety, where you've been able to mix and match. You know, Manchester United, you see typically it's the red shirt, it's the white shorts, it's the black socks. But sometimes you see the black shorts involved. Sometimes you see white socks. And a lot of it's down to clashes on uniforms, but you see those mixing and matching ideas. I like the potential Nashville has, because they could go all yellow or all navy, or they could mix it up in a variety of ways. And I hope that they do.
Idea.
I hope that they do. The yellow and navy, yellow is a great look. The yellow navy. Okay, that can work too. I really hope they go navy shirt, yellow shorts.
Yes.
Socks. I hope they go to that variant at some point. Mix it up from game to game. That'll be fun. I like that stuff.
He says, Joey also says the plain 96 DC United kit is definitely a favorite, as well as with the red shorts. I like the take on Atlanta United alternating black shorts with gold trim.
I'd love to see them mix that in. I think it'd be a good look. The white shirt with gold trim, the black shorts with gold trim, and white or black socks. You could go both. Again, it just gives you a little variety. It's a silly little thing, but it just, you see the team come out looking just a little different. It's like, ooh, okay. Let's do it. Let's have some fun with it.
Okay.
I like the concrete kits in 2017 for that very reason. Because you had the concrete and strawberry shorts. That was the primary with that. But occasionally, when there was a clash, they broke out the white shorts with it.
Yes.
And that was kind of cool because it just looked a little different. And it's like, oh, this just feels different today. I like it.
Yeah. Yes. Colonel has come in this morning, and I'm going to start with his hashtags of "not my thing" is his first hashtag, and Wall Pass Wednesday. And he was listening to 92.9. He says it appears that Darren's weekly appearances on 92.9 will be pushed back an hour from last season.
Okay.
And then his second sentence is, earlier slot occupied by adolescent humor, including Longshoe with some questionable language.
What did I do?
I don't know.
I don't think I did anything. I haven't been on Dukes and Bell in a while.
Okay.
Man.
Hey.
Colonel.
Top. Yeah, I know. Morning, Colonel.
What did I do?
Yeah, I know. Tofka found some information that apparently Sunderland is for sale for $52 million.
What?
And, yeah, Tofka's saying if that's really the asking price, Blank should jump on this, in his opinion. Newcastle would be great, too, but Ashley wants a Saudi king's ransom.
I don't know what the situation is with debt, and that would be the bigger question here, and that might be why it's only $52 million. But if you have a Premier League level club, and Sunderland would be that, that number being so low really scares me that there's some crazy stuff
I think
behind
there's a
the
lot
scenes.
of debt that's got to be attached to that.
Yeah, and you're getting a cut rate price because you're taking the debt on. You'd probably have to pay more to not take the debt on, and I don't know about that one. So I'd want more details, but yes, if it's a straight up, like the club is in good shape and it's $52 million, yeah, that's a smart buy, but I don't think that's the case.
Couple more before we go, kind of rapid fire. Patrick Delaney, do you think we'll see Atlanta United 2 kits for sale with this new sponsor? Also, happy birthday and new kit day, fam! !
I wonder if we will. I kind of hope that we will, but I don't know if we will. I don't know if anybody's done the second team kits.
Yeah, I can't think of any.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody's done those for sale. So I'm not sure. I don't know if there's some kind of rule about it. I know there's been speculation about that, but I don't know for sure.
Sherbs on Five Stripes After Dark, the San Jose edition, says, Sherbs, I won money on that game. I was in Vegas at the time, and when we go down a man 10 minutes in, only game that was more exciting in the regular season for me was away at San Jose. So he won money on the Minnesota match that you and Mike were talking about.
Yeah, the San Jose game was later. So the idea about that being one of the biggest wins, I think if I remember the conversation, I was half frozen at the time, so
yes.
I don't remember much of it. We'd got back to the hotel at that point, and everybody was buzzing because it was a great win. I think Kevin said it in jest, and it had some seriousness to it. I think my caveat was that it was the best road win at that point, because the only other one would have been Orlando, and Orlando wasn't that great in 2017. That would have been on that level. Beat Columbus in 2017 on the road in the summer. Before that Minnesota game, I think that for me that would have been it. San Jose later that year upped the crazy level, and they've had great road wins since. But at that time, yeah, it was a huge win in club history.
Let's see. Chris Hutchison, yes, it is pronounced Joseto. He had that question.
That is correct.
And he also claims that the new Atlanta United kit will include a Kangol in honor of your birthday.
I don't think players can play in that. I don't know if that's good. I don't think it's a okay in the FIFA laws of the game.
But they play with the swimming skull caps for head injuries.
Kangols are different.
Keep the bandage on.
Oh, Kangols are completely different.
Okay. And Sandy United says he's pretty sure the Rockers reference and High Point references a rocking chair, since High Point is known for their furniture making.
Oh, that's even better. Okay. If their logo has a rocking chair in it, maybe I'm down. I need a rocking chair. I like rocking chairs.
All right. And then thanks, and I'm going to do this as a blanket shout-out. Thanks to everyone who has chimed in on the timeline this morning wishing Jason a happy birthday. And I would second Mike's words about putting up with me on a daily basis and basically being my ongoing PhD class when it comes to learning the sport of soccer. I could not be more grateful to have you as one of my best friends, and to be walking this journey with you that we have over the last handful of years.
Well, there's plenty of more journeys ahead. I'm
One
not
more
going
question.
anywhere. So.
No. But no, it's just
There's
up to where
plenty more to come.
All right, so then last question on the board this morning.
Okay.
Sean Hebert, T _ Sean Hebert, maybe?
That's an interesting one. We're going to need a pronouncer.
Yeah. Hebert, Hebert _. Where are some good places to eat on Buford Highway? I'll be spending some time on Buford Highway 285 North. Need some lunch and dinner ideas, suggestions, open to almost anything. I would first off suggest Las Delicias de mi Abuela at 285 in Buford Highway. That'd be my first one.
That is a definite one on the Colombian front. El Rey del Taco is my favorite. It's my favorite taqueria in town. It's not even close. So that's just inside 285 on Buford Highway. There's a lot of other places. Those are the two that I go to. I'm always going to go more Latin than Asian on food. And it's not a knock. It's not anything wrong with it. It's just I love good Mexican food. I love good Colombian food. There's another one right there, too. I believe it is La Casona, which is another Colombian place, like right inside 285, close to the MARTA station there. That's another good spot. I'm always going to go in that direction as opposed to Asian, which I do really like Asian. I like Korean barbecue, and that's something that is becoming more prevalent on Buford Highway, and maybe I need to not go to my favorite spots one time, but, man, they're my favorite spots.
Yeah, so like I said, Las Delicias de mi Abuela is the first one for me, but then I go toward more of the Chinese food after that.
Yeah, see, I'm going El Rey del Taco. I'm going for that really spicy salsa, and when you get bored of the tacos, when you've been there a bunch and you go to the torta instead, that's really good. The horchata there is outstanding as well. So El Rey del Taco is my vote. Go check it out.
There you go. I believe that's a show, sir.
That is a show. It is time to go. I'll be back at 1:20 on 92.9 The Game with Andy and Randy. I'll be sticking around for the AMA segment at 1:40, and then at 2 o'clock it's stoppage time on the 92.9 The Game Facebook page, facebook.com/929 The Game. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for all the birthday wishes, too, y'all. I really, really do appreciate it. And mucho plata, y'all.
Hank Aaron, Cristiano Ronaldo, Jason Longshore. Feliz cumpleaños, my friend. Mucho plata, y'all.